with somebody exciting. Look at this man, Robin Williams, the man of the night.
March 23rd, 1998. Robin Williams takes the stage at the Academy Awards. After 20 years as America's comedic genius, he finally holds Oscar Gold. Behind that smile was a complexity few understood, a brilliant mind at war with itself.
It's just rubber chicken, Mom.
I don't believe what you're doing now. You have to hold the microphone like it's something special.
A man who made millions laugh while fighting demons few could imagine. He concludes with words that reveal a lifetime seeking validation. I want to thank my father, up there, the man who, when I said I wanted to be an actor, said, "Wonderful, just have a backup profession like welding." This moment of triumph masks an extraordinary journey, one of staggering creativity, profound loneliness, and ultimately a battle with an invisible enemy none of us saw coming. How does someone who brings so much joy to others fight such darkness within? This is the story of Robin Williams. Not just the performer we thought we knew, but the man behind the spark of madness. To understand Robin Williams, we must understand the contrast that defined him. On stage, explosive energy and rapid-fire delivery. Off stage, thoughtful, quiet, even shy. This duality wasn't a performer's trick. It was the fundamental paradox of Robin's existence, the tension between who he was and who the world needed him to be. Most people saw the hurricane. I saw the eye of the storm. The quiet Robin who observed everything, processed it, and unleashed it through his extraordinary mind. Psychologists note that humour serves as a coping mechanism for those dealing with anxiety and social discomfort. For Robin, comedy wasn't just his art. It was his shield against a world that often felt overwhelming.
Wow, what are you guys doing? Okay, that sounds reasonable. Well, I have to go away now.
To truly understand the genesis of this duality, we need to return to where it all began. A mansion in Michigan, where a lonely boy created entire worlds to fill the silence. Robin McLaurin Williams was born in July 1951 in Chicago. His father, Robert, was a Ford Motor Company executive, while his mother, Laurie, was a former model with a flair for drama and eccentric humour. The Williams 40-room farmhouse in Bloomfield Hills projected privilege, but for young Robin, it was often empty and silent. His parents travelled frequently. His half-brothers from previous marriages were much older and lived elsewhere. The boy, who would one day command millions first, had to learn to entertain himself. At Detroit Country Day School, a prestigious institution that would later inspire elements of Dead Poets Society, Robin's early social experiences were painful. Overweight and shy, he found himself targeted by bullies who sensed his vulnerability. It was here that Robin made a pivotal discovery. Humour could transform vulnerability into power. By his senior year, the formerly shy boy had reinvented himself as class president and was voted funniest by the same peers who once mocked him. From his mother, Robin inherited both wit and an understanding of its social currency. Laurie Williams was known for outrageous stunts at charity events, once appearing with Scotch tape across her teeth just to create conversation. She taught Robin his first and most enduring lesson. Making others laugh was a way to win their hearts. This childhood experience created the foundation for Robin's later genius, the ability to transform pain into laughter, to create connection through humour, and to build protective personae when vulnerability felt too dangerous. In 1973, Robin entered the prestigious Juilliard School in New York. He was one of only 2 students accepted into the advanced program under John Houseman. The other was Christopher Reeve, beginning a lifelong friendship. While Reeve was the quintessential leading man, tall and commanding, Robin was entirely different. He possessed a mercurial energy that classical training couldn't contain. After 2 years, Houseman made an unprecedented decision, telling Robin, "There is nothing more we can teach you." Freed from classical constraints, Robin found his true voice in the bubbling comedy renaissance of 1977 San Francisco. In clubs like the Holy City Zoo, where he went from bartender to performer, he developed his signature style, rapid-fire delivery, seamless character transitions, and an improvisational brilliance that left audiences stunned. But this creative explosion came with a price. The comedy scene was awash in cocaine and alcohol, substances that temporarily soothed Robin's social anxiety while fueling his manic performances. What audiences perceived as boundless confidence often masked profound insecurity. By 1977, Williams had moved to Los Angeles, determined to break into television. His performances at local clubs caught the attention of TV producers, including George Schlatter, who cast him in a revival of Laugh-In. While the show itself was short-lived, it provided Williams with crucial exposure. Robin's breakthrough came from an unlikely source, a guest spot on Happy Days. The producers needed an alien for a one-off episode. At the audition, Robin immediately displayed the improvisational genius that would become his trademark. Asked to sit for the interview, Robin promptly sat on his head. What followed was a torrent of improvised alien language and physical comedy that left producers speechless. Mork from Ork, intended as a throwaway character, became an instant sensation. Mork and Mindy premiered in 1978, with Robin's alien character transplanted to Boulder, Colorado, where he rooms with a young woman played by Pam Dawber. For 4 years, television audiences witnessed the barely contained hurricane that was Robin Williams. Scripts often included the simple direction, "Robin does his thing," a creative freedom unprecedented in network television. By 30, Robin had become one of the most recognizable faces in America, appearing on the covers of Time and Rolling Stone. His first comedy album won a Grammy. He seemed to represent a new kind of star, raw, unfiltered, and electrifyingly unpredictable. But this meteoric rise coincided with increasing substance abuse, the demands of fame, the pressure to constantly perform, and his natural social anxiety created a perfect storm. Cocaine became both fuel for Robin's manic performances and a crutch for his private insecurities. March 5, 1982. Comedy star John Belushi dies of a cocaine and heroin overdose at the Chateau Marmont in Los Angeles. Among the last people to see him alive was Robin Williams, who had visited Belushi's bungalow hours before his death. The shocking loss of his friend forced Robin to confront his own addiction. With his first child on the way, he recognized he was traveling the same destructive path. The man who seemed to possess limitless energy was in reality burning out. Fatherhood became Robin's first salvation.
You're wonderful. It's great being a father. My son has a great trick he does. He goes, "Father!"
The birth of his son Zachary in 1983 provided powerful motivation for change. Williams committed to sobriety, replacing substance use with physical activity. He would later credit cycling as his replacement addiction, finding in physical exertion the natural high that had eluded him in drugs. This period marked Robin's first reinvention, a shift from frenetic television comedian to serious film actor. While he had dabbled in film with movies like Popeye and The World According to Garp, it was during this newly sober phase that he began the dramatic work that would define the next chapter of his career. In 1987, Good Morning Vietnam provided the perfect bridge between Robin's comedic instincts and dramatic potential. As Armed Forces radio DJ Adrian Cronauer, he found a character that mirrored his own duality, outwardly manic, but inwardly thoughtful and sensitive. Director Barry Levinson gave Williams unprecedented freedom to improvise the radio broadcasts while maintaining the dramatic structure of the film. The result was both commercially successful and critically acclaimed, earning Williams his first Academy Award nomination. 2 years later, Peter Weir's Dead Poets Society showcased a more restrained Williams as inspirational English teacher John Keating. The film's themes of nonconformity and authentic self-expression resonated deeply with Williams's own artistic philosophy. His portrayal earned him a second Oscar nomination and revealed new dimensions of his talent. In 1997, Good Will Hunting provided Williams with his most nuanced dramatic role yet. As psychiatrist Dr. Sean Maguire, he conveyed wisdom, grief and compassion with remarkable restraint. Working with young screenwriters Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, Williams found in Dr. Maguire a character who, like himself, used humour not just to entertain, but to connect, heal and protect. This performance finally brought Robin the recognition that had eluded him, the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. The boy who once created imaginary friends to combat loneliness had reached the pinnacle of his profession. But even at this moment of triumph, new challenges loomed on the horizon. The years following Robin's Oscar win brought a mixture of commercial projects and ambitious risks. Films like Patch Adams, Bicentennial Man, and What Dreams May Come revealed his continued desire to explore the boundaries between comedy and drama, between light and darkness. In 2002, Williams surprised audiences with two against-type roles in 1 Hour Photo and Insomnia, playing deeply disturbed characters with chilling effectiveness. These darker performances suggested an artist increasingly willing to explore his own shadows. After 20 years of sobriety, Robin relapsed in 2006. He later described the experience. "I was in a small town in Alaska. I was alone and thought, drinking will help." The fall back into addiction coincided with increasing personal turbulence. In 2008, Robin divorced his second wife, Marcia Garces, after 19 years of marriage. The settlement reportedly cost him nearly $30 million, creating financial pressure that would haunt his final years. In March 2009, Williams underwent emergency heart surgery to replace an aortic valve. The brush with mortality led to profound introspection, with Williams later reflecting that the experience gave him a deeper appreciation for life, but also increased his anxiety about the future. In 2013, Robin returned to television in the CBS sitcom The Crazy Ones. Behind the scenes, colleagues noticed troubling changes. The man who once never needed a script was suddenly struggling to remember basic lines. His legendary improvisational abilities seemed diminished. Panic attacks became frequent. During filming of Night at the Museum: Secret of the Tomb in 2014, director Sean Lewy witnessed Williams's distress firsthand. The actor would call him in the middle of the night, anxiously asking, "Is it usable? Do I suck? What's going on?" A man who had spent his life making others feel better now doubted his most basic abilities. What no one knew was that Robin was suffering from Lewy body dementia, an aggressive, incurable brain disease causing protein deposits throughout the brain. The condition leads to cognitive fluctuations, hallucinations, movement disorders, and severe anxiety. On August 11, 2014, the world was shocked by Robin Williams's death by suicide. Initial reports focused on depression, but the complete story would emerge months later. 3 months after his death, an autopsy revealed extensive Lewy bodies throughout Robin's brain. His widow, Susan, later described it as the terrorist inside my husband's brain, an invisible enemy destroying the very faculties that made Robin who he was. Lewy body dementia is one of the most aggressive forms of dementia, affecting cognition, movement and behaviour simultaneously. Robin Williams's brain showed one of the worst pathological cases we've seen, affecting nearly every region. That he was functioning at all is remarkable. As co-founder of Comic Relief USA, Robin helped raise over $70 million for homelessness. His involvement wasn't just lending his name, he regularly visited shelters, connecting directly with those experiencing homelessness. Perhaps nothing illustrates Robin's character better than his friendship with Christopher Reeve. After Reeve's devastating accident, Robin was the first hospital visitor. Disguised as a Russian doctor, he made Reeve laugh for the first time since his injury. What few knew was that Robin quietly paid many of Reeve's medical expenses and supported his family after his death, part of a pattern of private generosity that defined Williams's character. Equally moving were his unpublicised visits to children's hospitals, where he would spend hours with young patients, bringing moments of joy to their difficult circumstances. After his death, countless families came forward with stories of William's kindness, revealing a depth of generosity that stood in stark contrast to his public persona. Robin Williams was a study in contradictions, manic yet methodical, hysterically funny yet profoundly thoughtful, a public figure guarding private pain. He embodied both the gifts and challenges of exceptional creativity. Today, 1 in 5 Americans experiences mental illness yearly. About 1.3 million live with Lewy body dementia, many undiagnosed. Robin's story highlights the urgent need for greater awareness and compassionate understanding. When you encounter someone battling depression, addiction, or dementia, or hidden behind humour, remember Robin. Remember that empathy and connection are our greatest gifts to one another. In a world valuing performance over authenticity, Robin Williams teaches us that our most human moments may be our most important.